So we have some serious things happening for XRP right now. Some of the news is actually quite groundbreaking. We have some updates that I want to go through, and we have some not so serious price predictions that I also want to discuss, because I think this is one of the issues in the XRP community and this space, which makes other cryptos look down on XRP. And I want to discuss this because I am a long-term holder of XRP. I trade XRP, I hold XRP, and I think XRP will make me a lot of money. But I want to share my opinions around everything that is going on right now. You know, I have my trade. We're just under 3,000 XRP in the gain, which is lovely to see. As expected, we are now trading between these two lines of support and resistance. The resistance sits at $2.90. The support sits at $2.65. We came all the way up to touch about $2.96 to then come into this range. This range is very important because the support sits right on previous resistance. That has basically been previous resistance for this whole move to the upside. The whole move to the upside did go as high as $3.39, but that was not sustained for very long at all. And in fact, most of this move has spent its time with $2.64 as its resistance, and we are now flipping that resistance into support. This is very strong that we haven't actually sustained, or we have actually sustained above this price, and we've not dipped below it at all. Now, I would expect wicks below this price, because why? People will put their stop losses, their liquidations, and their emotional capitulations right there, which does coincide with there being a lot of liquidity for manipulators that sits there. But not only manipulators, also people who want to trade this and get into the trades while knocking out other people. Now, this is normally done by whales and big players in the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did wick below there in the short term. Looking at the news today, Coin Bureau says Swift is losing transactions to Ripple. Swift transaction volume is down 15%, while the XRP ledger activity is surging. Faster, cheaper, and on-chain, XRP is quietly becoming the new backbone of cross-border finance. This is where the excitement comes. From that excitement, we also have ProShares XRP ETF officially launching in just 5 days from right now, which is big news that could create liquidity. We also have a ton of other asset managers with over 240 billion in assets under management trying to or filing an XRP ETF, and this could again bring liquidity to XRP. Now, we have something happening tomorrow, which the whole market in XRP is talking about. The ISO 20022 going live, right? This could be big for a lot of different crypto, but one of them being XRP. Now, I'm seeing a lot of this sort of stuff go around. This is someone suggesting that XRP could hit $27,000 tomorrow. And this is the issue, guys, that I see. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate in the comment section for this, but this is the exact reason why a lot of people don't even take XRP seriously, the community seriously. They think it's a lot of tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists, right? I don't think that. I think that it's a very strong community. I think the XRP project and tech is very good. But saying that XRP is going to hit $27,000 tomorrow is just ridiculous, because it's literally impossible. All right, so that's not going to happen. But the ISO news is correct, or hopefully is correct. 20022 will go live tomorrow. And let's hear from Lewis Jackson as to why this might actually be beneficial for XRP.
Basically, what this will allow Ripple to do is actually hold stablecoins as reserves with the treasury. This is directly integrating Ripple and RLUSD in this situation with the government in stablecoins. So that means increased liquidity, which means increased performance for XRP, which means increased demand for XRP, which means increased price for XRP. This is incredible news. But here's the thing that got me really excited, and this is where we start talking about, okay, yeah, this bull run, we might be getting to the realm of like $10, $11, $12 for XRP. That's fine. But once we enter the utility phase, and I believe that...
Look at that. What a realistic, reasonable price prediction for this bull run. $10 to $12. That is realistic. It's the third largest crypto. It's billions of dollars in market cap. And that is still a lovely 4x from where we sit right now, approximately.
This whole thing, Ripple becoming a bank, I think this is the start of the utility phase. I think the moment they sign that
And remember, it's just this bull run, all right? There's multiple bull runs, there'll be multiple more bull runs, and it could go significantly higher after that. But this bull run is the important part.
Deal, and then the SEC approve it, that Ripple has now become a bank, is going to change everything. And I want to tell you why. Because XRP underneath. So this allows financial institutions and all kinds of entities to use XRP essentially for their transactions. It allows transactions to settle very quickly, very cheaply, so on and so forth. Because Ripple don't need SWIFT, Ripple are able to settle massive transactions in accordance to and with alongside the government without SWIFT, but using the new standard of language, ISO 20022, they can do it all using Ripple's technology. Here's why that's really compelling. Because the moment they do that, utility begins, because the competitive advantage between Ripple and any other bank is now being highlighted. So let's say it might take $1,000 to do $1 million transaction in fees, and that was what it would cost using any other bank and the SWIFT system and all of that. It could cost like less than $10. This is multitudes less that it would cost to do these transactions. Now, of course, Ripple would then add their cut on top of that in terms of fees, and people will happily pay the fees because at the end of all of it, you'll end up paying like, I'm making numbers up here, but you might end up paying $200 instead of $1,000 still. And the customer gets cheaper fees, so the customer experience is faster because you can send payments across the world instantaneously, and it's way cheaper, and it's not going to fail because the amount of payments people do cross borders that fails. I'm talking really quickly here because I'm too excited. Not only is that going to be a great experience for us, it's also going to provide Ripple with a massive margin to make some profit, which we want them to do as a company. But when there's profit, other companies and other banks will start sniffing around. They'll go, what is this? We can make more money and charge our customers less. Like, I think we want to do that. And we don't need SWIFT to do it because it's all handled as well. It's kind of like this all-in-one software that can do the whole thing. Yes, please. That's what will happen. This is the moment.
So yeah, what a great explanation. I think that was really good, and I think you guys should check out his channel. It's Lewis Jackson here. He's been covering XRP for years. We met back in London a few years ago, and yeah, I would check out everything he has to say as well. I wouldn't be following these crazy price predictions on any one given day we're going to X amount of money, because nobody actually knows. XRP is going to move in the same way the rest of the market moves. It ebbs and it flows, and these good pieces of news do help XRP, but it's not this instantaneous switch that happens overnight. That's not what I think will happen. Now, I'm open to being wrong, and it'd be absolutely brilliant because, for example, this trade right here would go absolutely parabolic, and I would probably be a billionaire if we went to $27,000 tomorrow, which would be great, right? If it did happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. With that said, guys, the overall market is looking good with liquidity being injected. We got the M2 money supply here increasing by 12% or so here right now. We also have China injecting billions of dollars of yuan into their economy. We have Bitcoin breaking 8-year bull market resistances, and we also have the US inflation index well below the Fed rate that they're after. This is from Trueflation. It may or may not be correct. You guys are open to interpretation of this, but I think everything that's happening right now could result in a move. And if we look at the others chart, or actually the total 2 chart, this is the total cryptocurrency market excluding Bitcoin. We do seem to be making moves. We've broken out of what was resistance, potentially flipping it into a support, and this could be the start of the move to the upside, or it might literally just be the top and everything falls off a cliff tomorrow. I really don't know. I think it's going to go higher, but I could be wrong. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.